Well, hello everybody, Phil here from Desperado 2, and today I am starting replacement of the Isinglass in my Dodger. Now, our old Dodger the glass is looking pretty ratty, as you can see, and nothing I could find to clean it worked. So I'm just going to go over quickly how I'm starting this, and hopefully I'll be able to update a little bit more. So what I did was, I bought new Isinglass, came in a roll like this. This is 40 gauge, and as you can see, what I've done is I've traced out the outside edge. So I laid the Isinglass over the outside edge, and I've also put a dotted line here where the outside stitching line is going to be. All right, so now I know that this piece that I've cut right here is going to replace this piece. Now, the reason I decided not to take this all out and then try to put a new piece in is you don't want to lose the shape. So this stuff comes with paper so you can quickly roll it up. So what I'm going to do is, and I've seen different ways of doing this online, and the way I've chosen to do it is I am going to tear out this seam here. So as you can see, this seam I am tearing out. So I'm just using a little seam ripping tool here, and it goes fairly quickly. You just put it underneath there. And then I'm going to trim this back to this edge, and I'll update you a little bit on how this works. Then my plan is to sew the new piece in along this edge. Of course, this plastic part won't be here. Then I will flip it over and remove the inside seam. So I'll remove the inside seam and then sew this piece. So I'll keep you updated on this to see how it's going. Ripping of the seam with a little seam ripper, I started with an X-Acto knife and it went okay, but this little seam ripper tool, honestly, I can rip this whole thing in a couple seconds. This is probably gonna have to be an edited video because it's hard to show you how I'm doing it and hold the camera at the same time. All right, I will update you in a few minutes. All right, so you can see how I'm trimming this back, right? I want to leave the stitching in on the one side because I want the structure and the shape of this bimini piece to work. So as you can see, I'm just cutting it back like this. And then I'm going to sew the new piece in along here. And then it'll be double layered for a second. Then I'm going to come along later and undo that seam, pull out the old glass, and then sew the second seam on the new glass. Hope that makes sense. All right, bye. Just a little update here. I'm now sewing this piece in. Remember, I've cut this back, so I'll be sewing in the outside seam, and I'm doing that from the back side of the Dodger. And I remember I marked these little dots. I don't know if you can see them. That was the old stitch line, so it's very easy to see where it's stitched, and leaving that old piece in here is allowing me some stiffness here. All right, I'll update you in a bit. So as you can see here, I have sewn in the piece on this outside edge. A little bit of a mistake there, but I'll go fix that later. And now I'm just ripping the seam out, the inside seam. I'll show you how easy that is, because there's the old piece. So all I need to do is use this little seam ripper that my friend Rhonda here at the marina was kind enough to lend me, along with her sewing machine. And we just take all this out. It's got to be careful you don't cut the material. And it's nicer, it's easier to work when we're working flat. We're on a picnic table here, and we have a shipping cloth down just to protect the glass. And then this will now peel out to reveal the repaired Dodger with the new Isinglass in. So now I'm going to go across and I'm going to just sew this seam along here, and now I work from the top side. So I sewed this in from the bottom side, and now I'm sewing this in from the top side. All right, folks, I'll edit this later and hopefully it'll make sense. Take care. Thank you. So this is the final result. It's not perfect. You can see my stitching wasn't 100%, and unfortunately I only had white thread available. I couldn't find any dark blue thread. Now this is 40 gauge, so my total cost on this to replace this It was 10 hours of my time. So it took about 4 hours to make the patterns and cut everything out the way I showed you. And then about 6 hours to sew everything in. And like I said, my stitching is not perfect. It's my kind of my first attempt at sewing. But it didn't come out, I'm not unhappy with it. Those white marks you see on there, that's actually from the, somebody suggested I use toothpaste to try to clean my old Isinglass, and that's just toothpaste stains. They will wash out. But I'm pretty happy with it. There were 5 pieces total I had to do. And, you know, they came out pretty nice. And I'm pretty happy. We can see right through them. You know, as you can see, this Dodger's about 4, maybe 5 years old now. But at least now I can see out the front. Like I said, some of my stitching, not 100%. I used a knockoff of a Sailrite machine. I watched the Sailrite video. I didn't like the way the Sailrite video did it, so I used a little bit different method. And actually, I gotta be honest, I'm fairly happy with the results. And I do it again. If I can get another 3-4 years out of this, I'll be happy. As you can see, when I did tear out some of the stitching, there's a couple little holes there. So I don't think I could use this again. I think if I did it again, I would have to replace the fabric as well. But honestly, the lifespan of this Dodger, you know, it's kind of getting there. So I'm not too worried. If I can get another 3-4 years out of this thing, I'll be very, very happy. So this is Phil from Desperado 2, and it's a bit of a crazy video, I know, and I've had to edit this one together, and it'll be rough edits, but I appreciate everybody who watches these videos. Thank you so much. You know, as far as negative comments go, if you want to make them, great, but it doesn't really change anything. This week alone, our head completely broke, and we have a vacuum flush system. I was able to buy 2 used vacuum flush toilets for $30 each, and was able to completely repair. So I saved $1,500 there on a new head, and the estimate on doing this Dodger repair was another $1,500. My total cost in parts for this project was $100, and my total cost in parts for the head repair was $100. So for $200, I saved, well, the head was $1,500 plus tax, and the quote on doing this was $1,500 plus tax. So I've saved $3,000. And you know what? I'm not unhappy with it. Anyway, folks, take care. This is Phil from Desperado 2. I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate you watching my videos. You take care. Bye-bye.